attitude towards health insurance is the same way I feel about education. People beat their chests and talk about how important education is to make themselves look like they're enlightened and righteous, because who's gonna say people shouldn't have an education, right? Education is stupid and it's for losers. Well, if education is that important to you for your children to have, get a job and pay for it. Now, don't get me wrong. Uneducated people will result in being a huge problem in this country, so it's worth the investment to have public education. Now, I don't care if a state wants to provide public education, but I don't agree that their government should be taxing income to pay for it. That's a violation of our property rights, and the schools are always demanding more money. Now, private schools are always portrayed as fancy schools with lots of money in them, but in reality, it's the public schools that have the most money in them. My point is this: education is valuable. But if you want something of value, work to pay for it. Your health is valuable, right? And if health insurance is so important, then it should be important enough to pay for. Well, Mr. Zoe, not everybody can afford it. Well, if the government would stop taxing us, because they're not supposed to, and also they're not supposed to be paying for things they're not supposed to be providing with our money, more businesses could hire and pay employees better so more people could afford it. And because more people would be buying insurance, that would bring the cost of insurance down. And still to this day, the liberals got you believing that privatized healthcare will just stop your treatment without any remorse. As if the government won't do the same. If you think privatized healthcare treats you like a number, you're in for a rude awakening with the government-controlled healthcare.
Oh, oopsie, careful, Mr. President. There is a cliff here.
You know what? Maybe this isn't going to help. Maybe you're better off not having the surgery, but taking the painkiller.
But, Mr. President, we're not just talking about my pain. We're talking about my life. No, I need a pacemaker.
Why do you think people risk their lives to leave their country to come here? A big part of why is because their health care sucks and their government becomes more oppressively parasitic to its people to be able to afford to ration out the health care. To pay for the health care you want, the government will have to become more and more parasitic to feed the parasitic liberal culture that voted them in. I'm Alfonso Rachel with Zonation, where we see that if people would stop being so selfish, humble themselves, and focus on providing a service instead of focusing on how to get things for free at someone else's expense, they'd have better health care at their disposal than what the government can give them, and sooner.
Careful, Mr. President. There is a cliff here.